Hey, welcome back to our devotions. As we kind of round out this week, a couple days left, one of the things that I recognize about the disciples, certainly I see in Herod, and I see oftentimes in us, is that we are very circumstantial. Herod was paranoid over the circumstances. He was deathly afraid of losing power, losing his influence. I think oftentimes we are gauging our well-being by our circumstances. And we're wanting our circumstances around us to change instead of asking God how we should change in the midst of our circumstances. This season is a perfect example. Sometimes we just want the problem to kind of go away. I think disciples, I mentioned in my message that when they were trying to feed the 5,000, they were overwhelmed. That was impossible. That's not going to happen. Just send the people away to get food. We oftentimes look at our problems that way, look at our circumstances. I want this whole racial tension thing just to go away. Just go away. Go somewhere else and figure it out. When instead of asking ourselves, how do we change in the midst of our circumstances? Beautiful little book called As a Man Thinketh, written in 1911 by a man by the name of James Allen, says that men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but seldom interested in improving or changing themselves. The man who does not shrink from self-crucifixion is able to obtain the goal or the object upon which his heart is set. A meaty little statement there. Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but seldom interested in improving themselves. The man who does not shrink from self-crucifixion is able to achieve his object or goal upon which his heart is set. I like that. The idea of shrinking from self-crucifixion is shrinking from what I can do, shrinking from the change I need to make, shrinking from the death to my flesh that so often drives us to want to either get out of our circumstances or simply want to get away from our circumstances instead of being changed within our circumstances. Here is an often missed aspect of reality. You will never be able to consistently improve your circumstances if you're unwilling to improve yourself. This is true because the most common denominator in all of your uncomfortable circumstances is you. What we need is to not be overly concerned with changing our circumstances and more concerned with changing ourselves. How do I manage the stress around me? How do I navigate the discrimination around me? How do I reflect a heart of compassion and empathy in the midst of circumstances that are oftentimes out of my control? You see, the power in that is that the circumstances around me are likely something in this moment that I may not be able to change. But if I focus on what I can change, which is my response to the circumstances or the people within the circumstances, all of a sudden my circumstances begin to change. I'm reminded again of the little quote by St. Francis of Assisi. If you're in an impossible circumstance, start by doing what is necessary. Then do what's possible. And suddenly, you just may be doing the impossible. Lord Jesus, we are people that are prone to run from or push away from whatever discomfort is before us, instead of learning to increase our ability to be comfortable in the midst of the uncomfortable, which, Lord, requires internal change before we're likely to see external change. Be with us today, Lord Jesus, because you always are looking for change from the inside out. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, our last day of our devotions this week, and in the weekends to come. God bless. Have a wonderful day.